Guardians, it's Armsday. You know what that means. Let's go ahead and dive on into what the gunsmith has for us this week. First things first, we've got the Haka Strongbow D shotgun, and there's actually one interesting roll of this coming out this week. But roll number 1 has got linear compensator, smooth ballistics, final round, hot swap, flared magwell, fitted stock, and hand-laid stock. The only really big thing there is of course hand-laid stock, which knocks down this gun's range by a bit, but gives it a nice big boost to its stability. And of course that's more useful if you're using this gun for PvE. If you're using it for PvP, it absolutely needs range. And unfortunately, roll number 1 just doesn't really offer much. The god roll for something like this for PvE would be like accurized ballistics, crowd control, full auto, and something like perfect balance. Roll number 2, however, is pretty interesting. It's got CQB ballistics as well as linear compensator, danger close, spray and play, flared magwell, hand-loaded, and hand-laid stock. So you're going to max out this gun's stability, again costing it a little bit of range there, but that mixes in perfectly with spray and play, which is going to increase your reload speed when your magazine's empty, and danger close surprisingly, which is going to get you a lot of play in PvE. Danger close of course grants you increased reload speed and handling when 2 or more enemies are present, and that's almost always going to be the case in PvE, so the fact that this gun has low range, especially with hand-laid stock on it, doesn't really matter as much since you're going to be up in enemies' faces and you'll very often be surrounded by more than one. So surprisingly, Strongbow D roll number 2 might actually get some decent play if you want to pick that thing up. Roll number 3's got smooth ballistics and accurized ballistics, final round, battle runner, flared magwell, hand-loaded, and oiled frame. Again, just not really a great combination of perks there. Roll number 2's probably going to be the best of the bunch. Alright, next up we've got the Suros RE41. This is the mid-impact Suros auto rifle. And roll number 1's fairly interesting. It does come with SPO28 for the bonus to aim assist. It's got fitted stock for stability, appended magazine, snapshot, injection mold, and hidden hand. Injection mold of course knocks down your range by just a bit, but gives you a little bit of extra stability. It's like a less good version of hand-laid stock, but it can mix in with fitted stock to make this gun pretty darn stable. And hidden hand's going to give you a little bit of that extra aim assist. The Suros RE41 comes with like already a great base aim assist stat of like 72. So you can mix in that great stability with a great base aim assist that's only made better by the perks that this thing has to, make a passable auto rifle. But you're ultimately really gonna miss the range on roll number 1. That's where roll number 2 comes in. This thing doesn't have SPO28, but it is coming with hammer forged, feather mag, snapshot, hand-laid stock, and outlaw. Again, hand-laid stock being one of the best stability boosting perks in the game. It gives a pretty heavy hit to your range, but you can kind of make up for that with hand-loaded, essentially granting you about the same amount of range that this gun comes with in its base form, but with maxed out stability thanks to hand-laid stock. And of course, outlaw giving you that faster reload on precision kills is definitely handy. Alright, moving on to roll number 3. This one's probably going to be the big loser of the bunch. It also does not have SPO28 for its sights. And perk-wise it's coming with fitted stock, appended magazine, snapshot, reinforced barrel, and Icarus. So it's got a lot of extra range with reinforced barrel there, and a little bit of the stability loss is mitigated by fitted stock. But ultimately, while Icarus is going to have you enjoy a little bit of extra in-air accuracy, you're probably not going to be getting too many kills in the sky with an auto rifle. It's just not like hand cannons, or even scout rifles where you can put out damage very, very quickly. Now, of course, not to say that that extra in-air accuracy isn't useful, it's just that last perk tree could probably be better served by something else. Alright, and moving on, next up we've got the Kumakatok HC4 Omalon hand cannon. Let's go ahead and take a look at roll number 1. This one does come with the true sight iron sights, and perk-wise it's rocking Grenadier, single point sling, reinforced barrel, Icarus, and surrounded. Well, it's got reinforced barrel, which does give this gun the range necessary to really make it worthwhile in any way, shape, or form, but it does hit that stability a little bit. Thankfully, Icarus is there to give you a bit more in-air accuracy, and Grenadier, well, it's a perk that a lot of people sleep on, but having that extra bonus to your grenade cooldown can actually be quite clutch. So not bad perks per se, but still just not the greatest combination to take advantage of the few advantages this gun has. If roll number 1 had something like extended mags and Firefly, it would be pretty darn good for PvE. Alright, moving on to roll number 2, this one does have the sure shot iron sights, luck in the chamber, quick draw, injection mold, outlaw, and exhumed. And oh man, this is almost good enough to be a niche version of this weapon. If only injection mold were replaced by braced frame. Braced frame would have given this gun more stability, and rather than knocking down your range, which this gun desperately needs and already has a severe lack of, braced frame would have knocked down your magazine size, which would have mixed in perfectly with luck in the chamber. That would have made this thing a super stable, luck in the chamber boosted fast reload machine that could have had some niche use in PvP, but would have been pretty fun in PvE. Unfortunately, that's simply not the case. Moving on to roll number 3, this one does have the Sure Shot Iron Sights. It's coming with luck in the chamber, quick draw, reinforced barrel, firefly, and surrounded. So we've got reinforced barrel this time, giving a nice big boost to this gun's base range. And again, the presence of luck in the chamber for a little bit of extra damage on a single bullet in the magazine, and finally Firefly, which is a fantastic PvE perk all around. So now this, I guess, would be a passable PvE roll. You're not going to be able to rely too much on luck in the chamber since the gun's magazine size is 9, but having that extra range from reinforced barrel is definitely going to feel good, and it'll mix in perfectly with Firefly. Moving on to the final gun this week, we've got the Suros JLB-47, and unfortunately none of the 3 rolls this week are really going to have what you're looking for. And that is, of course, a competent grenades and horseshoes roll for PvP, or like a heavy payload cluster bomb roll for PvE. And honestly, it's kind of hard to justify wasting your time on the JLB-47 when so many great rocket launchers have just been outright offered in the past few weeks from some of the other vendors in the tower. I don't know, it just kind of makes the Suros JLB-47 selections this week a little bit embarrassing. Roll number 3 is the only one with any real interesting perk combinations on it. It comes with single point sling, flared magwell, tripod, perfect balance, and lightweight, meaning you can hold 3 rockets in the tube, and that's about it. And ultimately, that's just not really a good enough combination to really be worth anyone's time this week. So my recommendation, if you've got the Suros JLB-47 package, hold on to it and wait for him to sell something better. And moving on to the field test weapons this week, actually, all 5 guns can be completed in PvE. That's right, rejoice, it's time for a whole lot of gunsmith rep, but make sure you complete the Nightfall first so that you get that EXP buff. Alright, and moving on for next week's orders, first up we've got the Haka Judith D hand cannon. This is the high impact hand cannon, and it's capable of some interesting rolls. We've got the Omelan Kumakatak HC4 hand cannon once again. Guess we're getting a second chance to get a decent version of that. The Omelan Ufern HC4 hand cannon, the Tamer D sniper rifle, and finally, the Omelan Uzume RR4 sniper rifle. And that, Guardians, is pretty much it for this week's Armsday review. Oh, what's that? There's one weapon we didn't cover from last week? Yeah, the Jingu Kogo D package. I just didn't even bother picking it up. It's a terrible weapon, and there's almost 0 situations in which you should really be using it. But alright, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to let us know what you picked up from the gunsmith down in the comment section below. And I hope you Guardians have a wonderful day. But as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.